Sometimes he literally is like so completely off. You're like, where did you get that
Yeah,
from?
I think I had a student named Lily one time, and I called her Esmeralda. I don't know. Welcome everybody to the First Time Podcast with your host, First Time Dad, also known as Carson Matranga. I'm joined with my co-host.
The first time mom, Brielle Matranga.
What did we want to talk about this time? Where did we leave off the last podcast?
We were gonna talk about our views on like how we're gonna raise our kids when it comes to
Kids.
school. Yes.
With an S, plural?
Yes.
We're going to have more than one?
Yes.
Really?
Well, I hope so.
How many kids do you think we're going to have?
At least 2. At most 5.
Most 5?
Yes.
What happened to 10? I thought you always said you wanted 10. What you just said is what I normally say.
It was a joke that you won't let me live down.
Okay, so as you can see, this is what our house kind of normally looks like. Zalia's sleeping right now. She's been super fussy because she has a tooth.
She got her first tooth. It's so cute.
It is actually so cute.
And I cried because it was like, I don't even know. She's growing up.
So we kind of just took this opportunity really to maybe hurry up and try to record a podcast. But we wanted to pick up where we last left off, and it was how we're going to raise our kids and
our views on raising children, because we've never done it before, and that's the point of this podcast is
we talk about our first time.
You always have a first time.
You always have a first time with anything in life, and our journey right now is becoming first time parents, and but we're gonna also talk about the first time, like our first times, if you know what I mean. So with that being said, what? She's so weird, guys.
It is funny.
All right, so first things first. How do you plan on raising her? So that's such a vague question. So like, do you okay, when she does something wrong, okay, what do we feel like we're gonna do? Okay, hang on. The monster might be awakening. Okay, no, we're good. We're good.
She like scratched the crap out of her face just now.
Aww.
What did she ask me?
So like, okay, when Zalia gets a little older and she's doing something she's not supposed to do, how would you handle the situation?
Well, see, this is the thing. Brielle, before being a mom, I'm still irritable, but, I'm naturally an irritable person. So,
Very.
I kind of, when things, and I don't have a lot of patience, so, like, things just aggravate me, and I just kind of, like, snap easily.
Right.
I'm just gonna be honest. But, like, I can't think about doing that with, like, her.
Like snapping at her?
Yeah. Or, like, I'm not saying that she won't test my patience and, like, I won't get irritated at times, but, like, I can't, like, having her now, like, I definitely want to, like, control it more because I know the impact it can have on a developing child.
Gotcha.
So I think that...
Now with all that being said, what would you do?
Well, I have to explain that.
Okay.
So, and like I've tried to research things too in like the right way.
Right.
And I just feel like
but,
I would...
who knows actually the right way?
Yeah, I think it's just what makes you feel the best and like what you feel most comfortable with, except for like obviously hurting your child. But I think that I would be like, hey, let's not do that, because that can and explain what the consequence would be if she continued. Whether it would be like hurting herself, hurting others, or breaking something, like let her know.
Yeah.
And then if she continues, then I guess it would be like she then would have the consequence of like
timeout or something.
Yeah, so like if you don't stop that, like I asked, you know, then you're going to have to do this. And, like, that way she is warned, I guess, and it's not just immediate, like, stop that right now and getting, like, angry, because she doesn't know.
Right. I don't agree with just basically telling a kid to stop doing something. Yeah, like, no, just to know. Or, like, no, because I'm your dad, or no, I'm your mom. Like, I said so.
No,
like,
because I said so.
It's like, dude, their brain's trying to develop. They're trying to understand things. They don't understand from hot to cold. They don't understand, like,
and I think
they don't understand any of that.
This is going to be controversial, but, like, I think the problem with that is that people put it onto the kid, but really it's the parent problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, parents get stressed out.
That
they get stressed out. They're caught up with life. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
But they're like, they blame it. Like, a lot of people blame it on the kid. Like, well, they are doing this, and it's like, well, you should understand that they're a child.
That kind of, I actually have something to talk about with that too, because there's a lot of times. I think me and my brother were talking about it recently. Like, when people say they don't want kids, and they look at other people's kids and, like, oh, they're so bad, blah blah blah, whatever. It kind of makes you think, like, just because someone else's kids are the way that you don't like, then just don't say that you're not gonna have kids. Just raise your kids differently, because
and most of the time it's a reflection of
the parent,
home life, parents, or just things not being, like, dealt with properly.
So. And like, me and you came from completely different households, so like, I feel like we could say that, like, I grew up with, I get, like, they weren't really strict. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, maybe they were. I don't know, actually. I just, like, understood, like, why we shouldn't do certain things.
I just feel like they had, like, kind of, like, an order set on what they...
like, restriction. Like, we were restricted, we were restricted, maybe. Not strict, but we were restricted.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were strict parents, but then
no,
they also,
like, we could, like, there was basically no rules in our house except, like, running in the kitchen, basically.
Yeah.
But the rules when it came to, like, outside of the household was, like, you can't watch this, you're not old enough, or, like, I don't feel comfortable with you watching that, or doing this, or playing that video game, or whatever. And I understood it as a child, because they explained why they don't want me watching that, or why they don't feel comfortable with me playing that type of game, and you know what I'm saying? So I personally feel like that's good. And I remember my parents too, like, okay, well, once you're old enough, like, you can make that decision for yourself. Like, we don't feel comfortable with you watching it, but if you, when you're older,
that instead of, like, because I said so.
Right. But, like, when you're older,
that in my opinion creates, like, rebellion.
Right.
In a child,
100%.
because they aren't given an answer, and they want the answer.
So, okay.
Even though they're being that way, they want the answer.
So it sounds like we're on the same page. Like, if Zalia does something that we don't like her to be doing, we'll explain to her why she shouldn't do it, and if she doesn't listen to why she shouldn't do it.
I came from a family that was very much like, I'm the parent, you're the kid. And I'm not talking about just my parents. Like,
you had to get this out real quick. Because I was trying to, like, transition, but you had to keep going. It's okay, keep going.
It wasn't just my parents, I'm saying. It's, like, my entire, like, family.
Yeah, that's what they believe.
That's just what the generation went down, is, like, I'm the parent, you're the kid, you do this, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever remember being explained anything.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of remember feeling, like, shut out of everything.
Yeah, I want to talk about this real quick, because I actually watched this video today. It was Neil deGrasse Tyson. I believe that's how you say his name. I have no idea. I never know how to say his name properly. And here's a little fun fact about first-time dad, Carson.
He's horrible at names.
Okay, I'm pretty bad with names, but I'm trying not to say that I'm bad with names anymore, because words are powerful. And I don't want to say that. Let me explain it.
He basically,
wait, stop. And I've been doing my best this past season, because I'm a dance instructor, and I always forget my students' names. Like, I give them nicknames because I forget. And then the parents come in, and I'm like, hey. And, like, I've been teaching them all year. And I'm like, hey, Tiffany, right? And they're like, no, it's Taylor. And I'm like, in front of the parents, I'm like, crap. So I've been trying to get a lot better at remembering names.
No, it's not even that. It's either you forget the name completely, or you call them you literally, it's not just like he can't remember their name at all. It's literally like he says something completely different. Like, he just said Tiffany and Taylor. That's, like, still the T. No, sometimes he literally is, like, so all completely off. You're like, where did you get that
Yeah, I
from?
think I had a student named Lily one time, and I called her Esmeralda. I don't know why or how.
And that's why he just goes, okay, you're chicken nugget.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you wearing Converse today? You are Converse. And hey, Des. All right, she's like low key waking up because she wants to hear me. I think. Shh, go back to sleep, good girl. So anyway, let's transition to. I think what we're trying to talk about is we're on the same page.
Yes.
Okay, but if she doesn't listen, then I feel like timeouts are reasonable. Like, I remember having to go be sent to our room, and then it would allow you to think about.
what?
Oh, I was talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever his name is. Tassie. Every time I talk to my dad about it, he tells me his name correctly, and I forget. Anyway, he was saying how parents are always like, no, don't touch that egg. Like he used an example like an egg, right? Like that you cook. He was saying how, if a kid wants to grab it and like play with it or whatever, it's because their brain's curious. But typically the parents are like, no, don't touch that. You're just gonna break. And they don't, like the kid doesn't understand, like, well, why is it gonna break? Especially if they touch it already and they're like, it's hard. Why would something hard break? And he goes, so give them the egg, let them play around with it, and when it does crack, because it most likely will crack, they'll put the two and two together, like, oh wow, even hard things can be fragile. And I'm like, whoa, that's such a like a different perspective of understanding, like that's what kids are trying to figure out, is they're curious. I mean, just like we're curious of things that we don't know about, typically, especially in those ages though, because they're trying to understand, they're trying to learn and figure it all out. And I just thought that was so interesting, like, man, something can be hard and fragile, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And that's good for development for a child to know. And he said, and what's one egg gonna cost you? 40 cents at the most? And I was like, good point. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, what's 40 cents with a child, like helping a child's brain understand, Yep. And so anyway, so you're gonna get in timeout or be sent to your room if you ever be bad. Okay,
that's
so don't do that.
That's why a lot of people are doing the baby-led weaning right now, because it kind of it helps them figure it out.
And I like that portion of it, but at the same time, like, my brain. Purees first, we're doing purees first, just because. Wait, let me just say for anybody who's just listening, not watching, our daughter Zalia just woke up and she's looking around like, what's going on?
Yeah, she's just chilling here.
So if you hear us go like say something that doesn't make sense, it's because she's up and we're just talking to her. So anyway, sorry, go. We're doing the purees first with Zalia, because just 'cause that's what we this is how my brain works. Is if she goes strictly from breast milk to like solids and not like something in between, I feel like her body might be like, whoa, what is this? I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not a scientist, but like just how my brain works is, let's mix the two first and feed her that, and her little body can like, okay, this is a little bit hard to digest, but I got it, opposed to just giving them something more solid and they're like, oh, this is like way harder to digest than just breast milk. And again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything like that. I just make sense in my head.
I don't disagree with like the letting them feel and figure it out.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like that too.
But I want to not start with that process. I want to feed her myself with purees till she understands.
Absolutely.
Like, because she'll get it. And I definitely want to, like, I
mean, we got it and we started with purees.
I don't know what I started with. I'm just kidding.
You remember?
No, I don't think that was a thing. But I definitely agree with like different textures, so that she, doesn't prefer one and then ends up kind of like pickier and
Okay, so we talked about parenting, then we talked about like what we're gonna feed her just now, obviously, because she's growing her widow tooth, which is so crazy. I kind of want to jump to this portion a little bit, is how everyone says don't blink, they grow up too fast, right? And I've always said that my goal in life, like my main goal, is to be home with you as much as possible and help you raise the kids. Yeah. Because I don't like the stereotypical, the man goes to work, while the wife raises the kid. Like, I don't like that. Like, I love kids. I've always dreamt of having kids. I've always dreamt of like helping raise them. So it's like, how can I make money and still be at home as much as possible with you? And that's why I feel like, of course we started social media just to like for memories and because we enjoyed it, But at the same time, like I can't lie with the thought being in the back of my head of like, this would be amazing opportunity if this is what we could do for a living, because
Well, it started before that because you don't have like a dance teacher instructor. They don't, like, their schedule is completely different. So like just that alone fact, like you had what you wanted, but then
in a different way,
like
because dance teachers don't make enough.
No,
to,
I'm
like,
not saying money
support a
wise or
family.
like to be able to support a family. I'm saying like
You
that
were
was
saying-
already kind of set in stone.
Yeah, like my path was already kind of like I was.
That was your
Well,
passion.
because I was trying to strive for that,
and it worked out in that way. And then social media just
picked up and
worked out, and then that led to other things. And then it's like you combined them in ways, and it's just like worked out. But I know like a lot of people are like, oh, you're the man of the household. That means you have to go to a 9-to-5 job and support your family while your wife stays home and only sees the baby.
Yeah. And look, and if that works in a relationship, I'm not downing on it at all.
No,
like my dad, my grandpa, like they, like most men in my life do that. And I don't think that's wrong of them to do. I just knew that I always looked at that and I was like, damn, like I wish my dad, was here more, especially because I was homeschooled. I don't know if you guys know that. So that's another thing that we wanted to jump into, and we can like talk about that in a second, like what we are talking about doing with Zalia whenever she comes of age, and like all our kids. But I was homeschooled my whole life, so like the only people I was around 24/7 was my mom and my siblings, right? And I loved it. But I'm not gonna lie, like there was times where I was like, man, I wish my dad could be here, or like, you know what I mean? Because he would wake up and go to work before we even woke up. He would get home just in time for dinner, basically, take a shower, eat dinner with us, and he would do his best to stay up as long as he could with us, and that kind of affected his health, like, like it's not good for somebody to stay up for, till 12 o'clock and then not even, like 12 o'clock at night and then wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. Like, that's not healthy. So anyway, I'm saying all that to say, I just knew I never wanted that for me and my family, and I am very blessed and fortunate that, God has provided opportunities for me to kind of do that in a sense, and I just feel like I just want to grow. Well, we want to grow that as much as possible, so that way we can stop living in my parents' backyard if we wanted to. Yeah, because we built a tiny home in my parents' backyard. Oh, you want to talk too? If you guys don't know that, we built a tiny home. We are going to talk about that on the next podcast, because some people, well, actually a lot of people you guys that follow us on TikTok have been asking us for a tiny home tour, to talk about the tiny home, like how much it costs, how much, like everything. And so I'm like, why not? Let's do it. Next podcast, house. That's what it'll be. Yeah. So anyway,
I was meaning more on what you were talking about, was that I don't like when people think that has to be the case.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't. Like, clearly I know that works for
in
people.
This generation, like there's so many different ways to make money.
I just don't like the people that down it. Well, I just don't think it's right, because it's none of anybody's business.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like
financial
that's valid. Things just isn't.
And
no, like,
that's valid.
You and your family and how you choose to live your life and everything.
It's up to you.
Isn't, it's nobody else's business. So I just don't like when people.
I agree.
Guess because we've had comments like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Personally on TikTok, just we have had like.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna talk the talk, and that's fine. Whatever, but.
But that is just how we.
Are doing our best to. She's pulling your hair.
Yes.
Okay, so I said how I was homeschooled my whole life. Well, really, I went to school till first grade, and then I got pulled out for various reasons. Did I say that word right? Various reasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your accent was strong on it, though.
Yeah, I know, huh? Do I have an accent, guys? Comment down below, because people, like, from where I live, they have accents. I'm not going to lie. But I feel that I don't have that accent.
Carsons is not as strong as the people around, but for people that aren't around
like,
here,
for example,
he definitely sounds like.
For example, where we live, people say my name's Carson when my name's Carson.
Yeah.
And, or they say Lord instead of
Carson.
Lord.
Carson.
Yeah, Carson. Anyway, yeah, I'm just curious if other people hear an accent. I mean, obviously, if you are from friggin', Europe or like, whatever, like a different continent, country, whatever, even state, you probably be like, yeah, you have an accent, but I'm curious if it's, I don't know.
No, but Carson was homeschooled until 1st grade. I started being homeschooled in or around 5th grade. I went to 5th, but then I got pulled out like kind of like the middle of 5th grade, and then I started being homeschooled. But it was completely different types of
So
for us.
I basically was this thing called unschooling. I think she wants me.
That's good.
I was basically, I did this thing called unschooling, to whereas Brielle did more of like traditional homeschool, I feel like, right?
Yeah, like I went to a little like group and we,
Yeah. To whereas
studied actual like books and stuff.
like a curriculum is what you're saying. So we did do that at first for like the first like maybe God bless you. Oh God bless you. Oh God bless you.
That was a lot of sneezes.
You sneeze just like mama. Okay, so for the first, like, I'll give my mom like maybe like a year, maybe even 2. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't even that long. I have no idea. I don't remember that much. But, she followed a curriculum. Like we had a whole schoolroom. Like we would go in the schoolroom, classroom, whatever. That was a bedroom that we transformed, and we worked on a curriculum. Like we did. It was legitimately schooling. Well, I started hating like reading books and hating doing all of it, and my mom's like, what is like going on? Like you love reading books and whatever. So she was like, you know what? And she like found this different method of teaching. It's called unschooling, I believe. If you look it up, I'm sure the exact definition will come up. But essentially, like she let the world teach us, basically. Like she would, how we would learn math is she would give us, let's say, $20, and we would go into a store and we would see like, what can we buy with $20, and then are we going to have money left over? You have to also include the 9% tax, and like we as kids had to figure that out. Like I remember I went to go buy a Ninja Turtle toy from like a dollar store, and I wanted 2 of them because I wanted to give one to I think I wanted all 4. Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Donatello, right? I wanted all 4 of them, and I wanted to give 2 to my brother and then me have 2. Well, I had $4. Each one was $1. And when I got up to the cash register, it was like, $4.38 or whatever, basically $4.40. And I'm like, oh, I only have $4. And my mom was like, Carson, that they add a 9% tax. Like, you have to do the math. Like, you have to, whatever. And I just remember, like, being so upset, and I was like, I'm gonna have to put one of them back, And I remember, like, I really, like, I don't know, I was sad about it. My mom knew that I wanted to give 2 of them to my brother, so she wound up just paying the difference. But I remember that being like a big learning lesson for me. Obviously, I'm 23 now, and I still remember that. And I was probably like, I don't know, 8, 9, I don't know. I was young, and maybe even younger than that, to be honest. How old are you when you're in 1st grade?
1st grade?
Yeah.
You're like 6.
Okay, yeah. So I was probably like, like 8, 9. Yeah, I was right. Maybe like 8. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was just like one of the first type of things that I remember learning, and not one of the things I'm learning. I'm sorry. That's just how we learned in the world. And Zalia is using the diaper. Not the restroom yet, but the diaper. I wonder if you heard it in the mic.
Her eyes are so watery.
Hang on, had a cough. Sorry. I've been having a cough since the start. Okay.
Yes, so...
Yeah, like with reading, my mom would just bring us to the bookstore and be like, just... Yeah, go pick up...
through baking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my mom would always make us cook and like learn how to bake and all that kind of stuff, and it taught us fractions or money did.
And it just created them like wanting to learn
on
themselves.
Our own terms, yeah. And like what we wanted to learn about, I was always very like business oriented, so like I always wanted to learn about that kind of stuff. Like I remember my mom holding like a whole little I don't even know what it was called, like not a garage sale, but kind of like that for like all the homeschool kids. But each one of our rooms was like set up as like a little shop. You know what I'm saying? And like we all had like our little stands and stuff, and like we would sell stuff. And I remember I made like little clay figures and like jewelry and like duct tape wallets, and like I would sell it, you know? And yeah, we would just do stuff like that. It was really cool. And yeah, so anyway, you can kind of talk about what you did, I guess. That was it. You just kind of went to a place.
Yeah, I went to school. I love school. I always liked school. And so whenever I went into 5th grade, I remember it was like different because then it just started as like the little school drama, and I was not used to that. So I was like, And so my sister was being homeschooled at the time, and so I told my parents,
how old are you in 5th grade? Like what, 12, 11?
Yeah, and so I just was like, yeah, you're like 11, 12. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this. And my sister's being homeschooled, and so we just were being homeschooled at this place together. And it was just like, kind of like, it's a little building, and like you go in and you're just in a small class, you know? And it's just on a smaller scale. And you just, at the time, it was like you go like 3 times a week, and you only go for a few hours instead of,
Was it kind of like tutoring, basically?
Yeah, it was kind of like that, all like just extra.
Right.
And I remember like at one point it was like in the lady's house because she like went from that company business that was doing it, and she like left, and so we went with her, and it was in her house, and like that was hard for me because I liked the school atmosphere, so like it just wasn't working with me. But
the reason why they pulled you out and the reason why you didn't want to be in school was because of kids and drama?
Yeah, it was just...
Did you deal with that?
Stuff.
Did you deal with that in that smaller place?
No.
That's good. But did you even know anybody in the smaller place?
Yeah, I knew people.
Okay.
From like my sister, but it was more like, I guess it's like, I just enjoyed the atmosphere of school. It made me feel like productive in a way, and like that didn't.
Right.
And so I struggled with that, and then I struggled with feeling like I was behind because it's more flexible. Like homeschool is more flexible.
Right.
It's not like very like strict. Even when I was back at the place when I went years later.
Because there was a period where you went, then you stopped going, then you went again.
No, there was a period where I went to this place, then I stopped, and I went off with that one teacher.
Oh, okay.
Then we stopped with her, and I ended up going back to that place, and I had like a few teachers at that one. Because at that one you had like a teacher per subject, kind of like high school, you know. But like you only go in a short amount of time. But like basically I just struggled with that, and like then I felt like I was behind because I knew that they were kind of at a slower pace, and then it was just making me like confused because I wanted to be like more challenged in what I was doing, and it just bothered me. And then me and Carson met in the middle of that whole time that I was there, and then I kind of just went along with what they grew up doing.
And she's still to this day, she's like, how does your brain work like that? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
so
we
yeah,
have those
like
conversations
I can definitely say
time.
that I struggle with more of like an open mind and being creative.
Yeah, she's like, this is how it's done, and this is how it should be, and whatever.
Wanting to learn things like Carson wants to, and like I kind of feel like I was burnt out because I went to school, and it's very just like you're learning a bunch of things that, let's face it, you don't want to learn. And then second, a lot of it is literally for no reason. There's no reason.
Yeah, most people wouldn't use the information they learn.
And like then they don't teach you certain stuff that you do need to use. It's just like, it's just strange. And I think that it's like, I think some people need to go to school. I think that some people, like I understand people wanting to because I was like that. Like I liked that. But it also felt like an escape from like my childhood. It was to go to school.
Right.
So like I completely like support how schools even started and like how that's a thing. But then like there's always that like some people I feel like don't need that, and I feel like they do need homeschool because of bullying issues, safety issues, just like
just how
whatever.
they learn in
And
general.
so
Right.
I definitely feel like either one. Like it's not. I don't hate on either one. Is what I'm trying to say. I do think that
What you're
it's
saying,
easier to get stuck in things when you're in that high school environment,
Mm-hmm.
Opposed to when
I
you're
just
not.
don't like the idea of, which is this is such a long conversation, and we're just trying to say like what we're gonna do with Azalea, but I'm just gonna speak on this real quick, and then we can say what we're gonna do with her and like our kids, but or at least like what we discussed. You want to talk into the microphone? Is I don't like the idea of, you have, let's say, I don't know, 15 kids in a classroom or however many kids you have, and you're teaching them all the same way. When it's like, dude,
And they're all, yeah,
no
they all
two
have
people
different.
are the same. No two people learn the same,
Yes,
two
they don't
people
learn
can
at the
learn the
same
same, but
pace.
it's just right, like not the same pace or in the same different way.
Or they don't understand it the same way that person
Right.
did, or as fast as that person did,
Right.
and then like if they don't get it,
and
they're
then,
like
they're failing on that. It's like
failed.
it's not that you're dumb or that you're not capable. It's that you're just different.
That's what I guess like
And
with the
that's
homeschool
what
thing.
that's what I don't like.
It's
I
like
don't like how school tries to tell you how to learn, what to learn, just because it's like, dude, everybody learns differently,
Which I know they do have certain things that like help those kids.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in a normal school setting. You know what I'm saying? Like in your normal classroom, and I'm not saying that there's not amazing teachers out there that are
like
teaching them, and going each and helping each individual kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course. I'm just saying your typical, you know what I'm saying? Like your typical school classroom, it's rare that all the kids are going to actually understand and like really want to learn that kind of stuff. To whereas if you gave them something that they can understand and that they do want to learn, you're going to have A+ students every time. Hands down, because they're wanting to learn and they are capable of learning because you're teaching in a way that they're understanding, Anyway, say all that to say, like Brielle said, she likes school, like the atmosphere and the things of that nature, but she also agrees with homeschooling and unschooling and things of that. So I think we're going to do our best to try to combine the both of them, like teaching her unschooling, but also like making sure like she's up to par, I guess, with like where she's supposed to be. Like if she's supposed to, be doing times tables at whatever age, like we want to make sure that she understands times.
I want to make sure that she knows everything she needs to know to navigate in this world. Like, I want her to be able to navigate in the world and be taught like what you need to know in this world. And I don't I want her to figure it out, but then at the same time I want her to like actually know it.
Tools.
I don't want to just I'm not letting her just figure it out and then like not make sure that she did figure it out.
Right.
So like yes, I definitely am combining them.
That makes sense to everybody. Our camera just died. Okay, so our camera died on us, sadly. So we're just gonna. It's already been 30 minutes. So we're gonna kind of wrap it up. I don't know if you wanted to finish saying what you were saying.
I did.
Okay, you did. I don't know if it got on camera, but
well, I just basically want to make sure that she is being taught things that she needs to be taught. But also I do want her little mind to explore and figure things out. Like I want to give her the freedom to do that, and I want to see how she does that. But I'm not just gonna like be like, here, figure that out. Like I want to make sure and help her figure it out.
I guess like another way to put it is we want her brain to develop and how her brain's supposed to develop. Like however is best for her to figure something out, then it's for her to figure out.
Yeah, because we just live in a world that you need to know certain things and you need to know how to do certain things, and that's what I want her to be able to do. And like we don't know her story and like what she's gonna do. Like we don't know if she's gonna want to.
She might be the next Albert Einstein.
Yeah, like we don't know what she's gonna want to do, and like we just want to help her.
Yeah, in any way we can. So
and I guess it's better. Like I don't want to. What's that word?
I don't know.
Like I don't want to basically like take that away from her just because we are like she might be really into wanting to learn like school and education. She might really care about education. Like she just might be that person.
Right. No,
and she
100%.
might want to go to college and she might want to be a whatever.
Yeah. She really might.
And I don't want to rip that from her just because,
No, 100%. I got you. What we're going to talk about in the next episode is we're going to talk about the first time we built a house together and like the cost of it all and how we did it and things of that nature, because people want to know, and I feel like that's something actually pretty interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our next conversation. So be tuned. What up? Stay tuned. That's the word I was trying to use. Stay tuned for that, guys. This has been the First Time Podcast with your host, the First Time Dad. And yeah, do you have any? You want to sign off? Say anything? Did we make an outro?
Yeah, we said something like, "It's never too late for the first time."
Oh yeah. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. It's never too.
I'm not saying it together. It's just weird.
Oh, okay. Well, it's never too late for it to be the first time. That was cheesy, but anyway, all right. No, but for real, it's never too late to be the first time. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, come back next time so we talk about our first time with something else. And we love you. God bless. And
also comment down below what topics we should talk about.
What first times?
Yeah,
We've
what
had a
first
lot
times
of
you wanna
first
know.
times, if you know what I mean. So anyway, goodbye.